were a bit raunchy and raucous.
We kept you on a really short leash.
Nice to be on someone's leash sometimes.
I was gonna say, with that hair, you better play an instrument. It is so rock and roll. I love it.
I think she's a they. That didn't come out right. Can you do this for,
People would do
a
anything for a
donut?
t-shirt.
That's like genius.
Hey.
Hi there.
Hey.
You okay?
I'm doing good, thanks.
I am freezing.
Oh, isn't it nice? No.
It's unbelievable. It's a different kind of cold, because of the steady
Oh,
sea
by the
breeze.
water.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
It's 23.
Oh, wow.
It's 23 and the feels like temperature is 18.
Oh, my God.
I mean, we are going through logs in that log burning fireplace like you can't even imagine. Fuck.
I was experiencing cold like in Savannah. That's not even all that cold, but for us, it was cold, and we were like freezing with hats and scarves and everything. It was nice for Christmas time, but
Oh, definitely.
it's brutal when you're not used to it, so that's crazy that you're not that far away from where you lived.
Yeah, like 90 minutes. What a difference. I'm not even lying to you when I tell you I have on 2 pairs of socks. I got like Ugg slippers. You can't even see it. Ugg slippers, 2 shirts, and I'm just numb, absolutely numb.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the layering helps. Layering definitely.
I'm sitting next to a radiator. It's not helping. Nothing helps except for like a hot shower. That's like the only thing.
Oh, there you go.
Ridiculous.
Then when you get out of the shower. But you guys have those heat things, right, for the towels?
Yeah.
Don't you have that? Is that like standard?
Yeah.
You guys have that there?
Heated towel racks are amazing. I mean, like the one that I have is not anywhere as good as the one that we used to have, but it's still a heated towel rack. So
I think that's nice for anywhere, like even here, because you get out of the shower, a nice warm towel. I think I'm going to get one.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I think they're fairly standard here. Like there's no. Yeah. So I'm super excited about our guest today. His name is Jon Imparato, and he's in LA. And he's just like this really cool guy that has found a way for queers like us, I should say, to kind of like turn grief into, something a little bit more positive. So we're gonna talk to him about that. And he's also got a book out that is called The Good Inside the Grief.
Oh.
So if that's any indication, like that should be super interesting. So he's a writer, he's a producer, and he's an activist. So let's let in Jon Imparato.
Yay!
Yay, Jon! Yay. Okay,
there he is. Hey!
So
Hi,
nice
Jon.
Hi, Jessica.
I'm Denise. I purposely lit up my D, so you. That's JD.
Oh wait, I have a J I could put over here.
There you go. So,
And James, my Goomba. You're the Italian one, right?
I noticed it. I was going to
us.
mention it. Nice,
Both of
but
us.
yeah, Denise too. Yeah.
I was just telling her I found this amazing. We just moved to this new area. The beginning of November. And I just found this amazing little Italian cafe run by this family from Sardinia. And today I just went and loaded up on like meats and cheeses and
provolone and mozzarella. Yeah.
Oh my God. I even got like a pecorino that is soaked in Chianti.
Oh,
I can't wait. And olive breadsticks, olive tapenade. They sell like everything from like limoncello to pasta sauces and all kinds of stuff. So I feel like this is going to be my new spot. Like I'm so excited about it.
How did you know I was a Goomba? How'd you know that, Jon?
I watched your show.
Ah, okay. Thank you.
It's research.
And research. Watch your research. Yeah, and Italians and lesbians. I'm in heaven. Come on.
Right? I'm
I
Yeah.
gotta
telling
tell
you.
you, my lesbian friends are thrilled. You're my very first podcast that the book came out, and I have more
Oh,
lesbian friends, sisters than any gay man on the planet. Like my sisters are my heart. Like my best friends, my three best friends in the world are lesbians, and
we
they
make
always
good
say
friends.
I'm a lesbian. So they're like, "Oh, your first podcast is with lesbians. We're so thrilled."
We really do make loyal friends, don't we, Denise?
Yeah, I feel like we do. We
Absolutely.
really do. Like Jay, how long have we been friends now? It's like 30 years.
Oh, I know. It went by like that, but yes.
It's so true. It does.
But I always
Everything
say
goes
that
by quicker.
so quick. I was that people don't realize or give the proper credit that when the AIDS epidemic happened, that was the union between gay men and lesbians. There was the division
Yes.
stopped because you all showed up
Yeah.
Hmm.
in amazing ways, and lesbians were there in the trenches with us,
Yeah.
and that solidified it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
I think you're onto that. Yeah, that's the truth.
when I
It's
first
so
worked
true.
I'm sorry, Denise, when I first went at the Gay and Lesbian Center, which was the Gay and Lesbian Center, not the Los Angeles LGBT Center, this was
Yeah.
their second building in 1993. And there was a big walkout. The lesbians walked out of the Gay and Lesbian Center because, why? Because it was male-dominated program run by men.
Oh,
And
Oh,
wow.
finally, and gay men, God forgive me, but they have their male entitlement, their male misogyny, they've
Yeah.
got their male privilege and all that. And when we got a lesbian CEO, which has
Was
been that
that
way for years,
Sarah? Are you talking
no,
about?
that the first one was Tori Osborne,
Oh, right.
wonderful.
Okay.
And then programming started changing. They were now having programming for women, but it
Yes.
took women in that position to change that. I kept thinking we're here as a gay and lesbian center, but it's all male dominated.
Yeah. Yeah. We had
Yeah,
Julie Seaver
so
on
true.
last week, right? And Julie was
Yeah.
saying what an
yeah,
uptick in the women's programs, because even health wise, I just read a thread because I'm going through my own health issues.
hmm
Um, and I'm a type 2 diabetic. And
uh-huh.
I haven't differentiated yet whether the NHS is being proactive because I've been sent for a million tests, everything from transvaginal ultrasounds to urinalysis to all kinds of stuff. And in my heart of hearts, I know it's my diabetes. Like I'm
Yeah.
not on the right medication for me. I need three. I need to be on three things to maintain. And I was only on one for after a heart attack, they took me off two different medications and said they interact with blood thinners, but they never put me on something else. So my sugar shot up and I've been battling this and I feel like I know what it is,
Yeah.
but you feel quite intimidated going in and saying, "Look, I'm done with the tests. I know what it is. This is what I need." So
We're
yeah,
our
like
own, our own health
Yeah.
advocates. We have
yeah,
to be.
and
Yeah.
women, I
So
mean
true.
women,
And
God
women,
help us.
oh my
Very
God.
much so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah, but now,
Yeah.
like Julie was saying, like they've got the mammogram van that comes, and
Yeah.
they're pushing all these women's services because now that I've experienced it, I'm like, oh my God, it's so true. Like you
Yeah.
feel you want to advocate for yourself. You put together this whole internal monologue of what you're going to say and articulate, what's going. Then you sit down, and it's a male doctor
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I've been on every different kind of antibiotic from normal standard antibiotics to like a 5-day course of penicillin and nothing's changed, and I'm like, because it's not an infection, or
Yeah.
it's being whatever it is being
Yeah.
driven by the sugar levels. So yeah, I'm like currently I am going through it, and I just saw a thread about it, and they said it is 100% your sugars.
Oh,
It works again,
yeah.
when you have a lot of sugar, that you're not processing because you're not on the right medication, or you are, a diabetic, that it can happen. And I was on this particular drug called Forxiga, and with that, you're supposed to drink like 2 liters of water. So
Oh,
here I'm thinking that I'm flushing my kidneys, it's protecting my heart, all this stuff. In the meantime, it's just pushing sugars, into your bladder.
oh
So I was
man.
like,
I'll tell you
Stop thinking that.
something interesting that when we opened the Audre Lorde Lesbian Health Clinic at the center in the mid '90s, so many women came to the clinic because when I think it was the first lesbian health clinic, if I'm not mistaken, and they all had such horrible experiences with their male doctors, and they were misdiagnosed and
Yes.
they weren't treated right and all that, and so they were just hungry for for a woman doctor to say
Just to listen. Just to
yeah.
listen, like that's part of it. And yeah, I mean, thankfully I feel like we're on the right course. A lot of it had to do too with it's difficult for them to source GLP-1s
Hmm.
in the UK because all the American fat slobs get them first, for their aesthetic, not because they're diabetic. So they
They
took
don't make it there though. They don't
they
have their
finally
own.
are. They finally
Oh,
are.
okay.
Like I know you guys, it just got the FDA just approved the Wegovy pill instead of an injection.
Hmm.
And it's like they're saying it's like the first on the market. I was offered that 3 weeks ago over
Oh.
here. And so, but I said no, I didn't want the pill. I wanted to go back on what I was used to. I was on Victoza. And they said we can finally get our hands on that now. It's being billed as liraglutide. So it must be like a different manufacturer, but it's Victoza, it's liraglutide, and you'll be on the same dose you were on. So I'm back to those injections, and like I between changing my diet and going back on these injectables, my number was like 8 this morning, and it like a month ago it was 18.
Yeah.
So it's going in the right direction, but I got to get it to a 5. So that's my goal. Yeah.
And where are you in London? Where are you?
I was in South London for 14 years, and after my heart attack, my wife and I decided, like it's getting it's getting overpopulated, overstimulating.
Yeah.
Traffic stinks. You doctors were the worst. Like you had to wait so long for an appointment and everything. And we had found this house down by the English Channel here on the South Coast.
Oh,
And
lovely.
when I was in the hospital, we found the house online, and I said to my wife, "Keep the appointment with the agent. Go look at it.
Mhm.
Like I love it. If you love it, put an offer in right there." You know. Um, but no, she waited for me to get out of the hospital and come down and see it, and then we made an offer on it, and it was accepted, and then we had to sell our house. And buying and selling homes in the UK is unlike anything I've ever experienced in my life. And but we did it, and we got into this house, and we are 2 doors down from the water. So every day you can see it, you
Oh,
know,
lovely.
it just brings you this sense of
Oh,
calm and peace. But I was just telling JD before we popped you on that it is a different kind of cold. Like there's a steady gust, of about 25 miles an hour. So it was something like 24 degrees today, and the feels like temperature is 18 because of the wind. So it's way different. We're getting used to having like a log burner fireplace
right,
and
right.
going through
Nice.
wood like crazy, right? Just throw another log on, throw another log on. But
If,
it's the best decision.
I'm so happy. From my book, I'm always want to be near the water. My
Yeah,
travels. If I'm traveling somewhere, I want to be near the water. And
it's
where are
so
you?
peaceful.
Are you near water in Florida?
I
Oh yeah,
actually am. I'm in Boca Raton and I happen to live across the street from the beach. So
Oh,
like I see
heaven.
it. I can
yeah.
see it. It's beautiful
Every
to look
day.
at. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I don't, it's crazy, John. I don't like sand. So I love the fact that I can see the beach, I can see the ocean, but then like I wish I had the rocky beaches like Denise has in England because I that's the
Yeah.
thing, like getting to that beautiful water is you got to get through all that sand. But yeah, I do see. It's funny you should ask me that. No one ever asked me. I do
Yeah.
live
She's right
right
there,
by
man.
Can you
right on the
smell the
beach.
ocean? That's the question,
Can you
JD. Can you
smell it?
smell it?
You can smell the ocean. Yes, you
Yeah.
can. I
Yeah.
don't know that that's necessarily a good thing, but you can.
I
Not
feel
in this
like
Depending on
it's the salt air. Like
it's
there's
the
just
salt
something,
there.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's something so
Yeah,
peaceful. It's just like
yeah,
the
yeah,
sunsets are I feel like I'm taking the same picture every
yeah.
day, but I got to go
yeah.
out
Me
there and
too.
snap the sunset, like the
Where
oranges, the pinks, it's crazy. It's so amazing. Yeah.
Where are you, John? Where are you at in
I'm
this
in Los
world?
Angeles. I'm in Silver Lake, which is sort of
Nice.
like the cool thing about
Oh,
Silver Lake is I'm 15 minutes from Hollywood, but it feels
Oh,
like I'm up on a huge hill. It looks like the Italian, like I'm in Italy, because it looks like
oh,
oh,
all the
nice.
mountains, houses light up. But
nice.
I'm 50 minutes from the city, and it's really I'm in a cul-de-sac. I've got gorgeous trees around me. I've got a gorgeous deck. It's really a sweet deal.
That's nice. Oh,
Of
that's
course,
so nice.
from the book, I'm a New Yorker, born and raised.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
Italian from New York. I'll always be a New Yorker.
I'm Italian from New York too.
Yeah.
Where in New York? Where?
Brooklyn, mostly Brooklyn,
Okay.
and then we moved to Long Island for the good life when I turned 10 or 11, something like that.
Me too. Born in Brooklyn, moved to Long Island for the good life.
We're
I
in
think
Long
I
Island,
was
baby.
6. I'm in Hasset, the
Okay.
North Shore.
Yeah, we moved to my mother always said stay Stony Brook because it sounds really classy. University, stay Stony Brook. But we were in a place called Setauket. But the,
Okay.
it's the poor man Stony Brook, basically.
That's fantastic. I
Yeah.
can't
That's
like
funny.
I was like a New Yorker too, but Buffalo, like Niagara
Oh,
Yeah.
Falls.
Oh,
So
the upstate.
it's East
The
the
Coast.
upstate,
upstate.
East
yeah.
Coast. Yeah.
Yeah, I got
But
out of there when I was
I've been here
16.
forever. Dorothy Parker's got this great line where she says, "You come to Los Angeles, you lay down at a chaise lounge, you wake up 19 years later saying, 'How the hell did I stay here so long?'" And I came for 6 months. I never left. You
I
know.
believe it. I remember going 2019 was going I was going for a film premiere and my
Uh-huh.
friends had produced a movie and it was going to, open on Sunset Strip and we stayed at the
Right.
Standard. And every
Uh-huh.
morning we would go by the pool to get breakfast. And it was like the same people would show up with their little wicker bags and their variety newspaper and they'd get their bowl of yogurt and berries and they
Right.
would be and then we would go out and do things and come back and they'd still be there. You'd
Yeah.
be like, "What do we, well, I think we're just supposed to sit here. Like I don't think we're supposed to go anywhere." But yeah, it's an
Until
experience.
I retired or someone retired to write my book from the center, I used to drive and go, "Who are these people sitting at cafes all day long? Don't they have jobs? Who are these people? They just sitting out, the cafes are filled with people." I'm like, "How do you have a job?" And now I'm one of those. Now I'm one of those people.
Now you're one of them, right?
And now
It's
now I
hilarious.
get it. I
So
get
Well,
it.
hilarious. But I'll tell
I
you
gotta
what,
say,
I never
yeah,
met a person that didn't work in the industry. I was
yeah, like
like
Nashville.
nobody says I'm in banking or I'm in
Yeah,
finance or
right.
I'm in the industry. I'm in the industry. It's like, oh God. And we were the fattest people in all
Yeah.
of LA. Like that
Well,
was the one thing I'm like, we could never live here. My God, we're so
uh,
big. Me and my friend went and we were taking pictures by the Hollywood sign. I'm like, you can barely see the H. I mean, we're taking up the whole picture. So yeah, we did not fit in at
when I
all.
wait on tables, people say, "What do you do?" And I go, "About what?" And they
That's great.
like,
That's
That's
great.
"About what?"
fantastic.
Like they assume that I'm an actor or whatever. But now
Right.
that I'm now that I'm a writer and an author, I am happy to say I'm an author and I write books. That's my I love being able to say that now.
Well, I gotta
It's a great
say,
book. It's a
uh,
great book.
Thank you.
yeah, I was very, very blown away by the list of people you worked with. Lily Tomlin,
Oh, that's my
and her
heartbeat.
wife.
My
Oh my gosh, Kathy Bates. I'm trying to think of the list of people.
oh,
Wow. I mean, you
so
are
Fantastic.
many.
rubbing elbows with
I was so
my
lucky.
heroes.
Yeah. Oh, so many of them. And I can tell you a really great Kathy Bates story. Really great
Yeah.
Kathy
Yeah,
Bates story.
yeah. Because
So
Matlock starts Wednesday here.
yeah, yeah, I love
Oh,
that. Man. So she had done this play off Broadway called Vanities. It's about three young girls in
I
high school
oh my
cheerleaders.
God. This is
What?
one of my favorite plays ever. I was a stage manager for it in community theater and I never saw it again after
Well,
that.
it launched Kathy Bates' career. So the 25th anniversary happened, and I knew somebody who knew the author of the play, and I said, "Wouldn't it be great to do a stage reading of it?" So he got me in touch with Kathy, and she said, "Look, I'm not doing Act One. We're 18. I'm not doing Act Two. We're 25. I'll do Act Three when we're in our 40s, and I'll
Yeah.
kill it." and get young actresses, get young fun actresses to
Yeah.
come. We got like Jane Krakowski and Amanda Peet, all of them to do it. But then she said, "Can you get the two actresses that I did with in New York?" Valerie Mahaffey, who I think just passed away, and another wonderful woman. So I recreated her original cast for Act Three, and in Act Three she gets drunk.
Yeah.
And it's stage reading, mind you, which is stage reading. They're on stools with scripts in music stands. And watching Kathy Bates somehow act getting drunk, and she gets, is drunker the right word? She gets higher and higher
Yeah.
during the process, and then walks off. I watched the whole audience was doing this, leaning forward, because
Yeah.
it was
Wow.
remarkable. She was phenomenal, and then she was so smart. She said to me, "Look, I know because while we were the center has got this gorgeous courtyard outside the theater. So while the show was going on, they did this beautiful tables and a string quartet, and they had a beautiful dinner. It was a fundraiser, obviously, for
Mhm.
donors. And she said, "Look, I don't know these young actresses. I don't work with young actresses. I want to spend time with them. I don't want to spend the whole night talking to somebody saying, 'I loved you and fried green tomatoes.' So here's the deal. I know you've got major donors who need to come say hi with me and all that before we had cell phones and took pictures." She said, "But see
Yeah.
this right here by the theater? Rope this off for me. And when I'm done, I'll do all the highs, and then let me just have dinner and enjoy myself." And they stayed. They were the last table to leave. They stayed just talking and drinking all night long and
Oh,
having
wow.
all. And I thought, you're so smart. You knew that I needed you to do that for the donors, but you
Yeah.
want to do
Mm,
it all night long. Spend the whole night, schmoozing with people. She want to have dinner with these young actresses.
Oh, that's so
wow. What a
sweet.
thrill for
And
them.
Lily is family. I mean,
Oh,
Lily and Jane are family. They are the. Let me tell you about Lily. She never says no. I used to
oh,
I
wow.
asked her for a million favors for the center. And then when I became an author with my book, I asked for a million favors with that. We just did a wonderful event at the center. We had 125 people there where I read from the book and then she interviewed me. I'll send you the
Oh,
link when
wow.
we have it. We had a blast. And she was like, "Honey, I love
Wow.
you, you love me. Let's have fun." And
Yeah.
whenever I
Oh,
meet her, ever, she always says yes. She's
Oh
the
my
oh, wow.
goodness.
That doesn't
she's the
surprise
kindest
me.
woman I've ever met. Yeah.
Yeah. Geez,
Wow.
I'll tell
That's
you.
awesome.
She
And
is.
still madly in love. They are madly in love.
I
Oh,
love
isn't that
that. They've been
great? I
together
love
like
that.
years and
50 some
years.
odd years.
I
We
love
were doing
that.
we were doing an event and she said, "Is Janie here yet?" I said, "No, no." I said, "Honey, you left her like an hour ago." She goes, "I know.
Oh,
I'm always happy when Ginny's in the room.
Oh my God.
Always
That's
happy when Ginny's in the
adorable.
room."
what a
God,
gift
that's
to have
adorable.
that,
Yeah.
someone
Yeah.
in life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, right.
And
Um,
as a writer, I revere Jane Wagner because she wrote Search for Signs and so many other things.
yeah.
And she's such a great champion of my book. Just such a great champion all the way.
Well, let's talk about
Wow,
that
that's
because
great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Any questions?
the topic um is something that, I don't know if you watched Anderson and Andy
Of course.
on the New Year's Eve, right? And Anderson Cooper was talking a little bit about how New Year's Eve is very heavy for him and it's grief filled. And he said, we're here, we're having a good time, we're laughing and everything, but there are a lot of people that struggle, with the holidays because of their grief or something, triggering that happened, around this time for them. So it's not a celebration, it's not like a big party.
Yeah.
People sometimes become isolated and everything. And I thought that was really amazing for him to speak out like that in the middle of
yeah,
all that silliness and
Yeah.
drinking
Yeah.
and everything, but to just kind of just emphasize that it's not this way for everyone. And I think the
right,
thing I liked about your book is that a lot of people don't even recognize that that there's grief inside of them. You know,
Yeah. Thank you for that's a great question because also, well, my publicist is trying to get me onto Anderson Cooper's show, so let's put that out there in the world.
oh yeah,
I
the podcast.
wow,
it's
Yes.
this
Yeah.
podcast,
Oh,
but
that would be
manifest that for
fantastic.
you.
also what I talked about a little bit in the book, but what I feel now is I think if you're a conscious, aware person, we're in a collective place of grief for what's happening with this country.
Oh yeah.
We're collectively experiencing grief of the erosion of democracy.
Hmm.
And I know so many people. I get together with so many friends, and they'll go, "We can't talk about politics. We know what we can't
Yeah,
talk about. No, we can't because it's going to ruin the evening."
Yeah.
And
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
says to me, the wound is so deep that even when I'm with my good friends, we want to have a good time. We can't talk about the politics because everyone's so freaked out.
It's
They're
Yeah.
anxiety riddled, anxiety riddled.
and they're grieving our country.
Yeah.
It's a collective grief.
And
Yeah.
losses because of it, because of politics.
Yeah.
Families separated, different kinds of
My,
holidays now.
what my trans brothers and
Yeah.
sisters are going through, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
horrific what my
Yeah.
trans friends are going
Yeah.
through, you
Yep.
know?
It
You're
does
right.
separate families. You're right, Denise. It
Yeah.
makes
Oh,
families
definitely.
Oh,
divided
And then that
if you
changes your
talk
whole
about it. You
your
can't talk
whole
about it. Yeah.
dynamic. Yeah, the whole
or there
dynamic
are
changes.
families where, if you ideologically believe in what he's doing, I can't associate with you because we're on different, we have a different value system.
Right. You
Yeah.
can't
And
Yeah.
change my
yeah,
mind. I can't
yeah,
change your mind.
but you're right, JD. It's creating divides everywhere.
Yeah,
So yeah.
big
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And that is of like there's I guess you touch on it. There's different forms of grief. Way different forms. You can mourn the loss of someone. You can mourn the loss of your family in a situation like that. Pets. Oh my God, that's a whole different type of
Oh
grief.
my God. Yeah. Because
Just
not
lost
everyone.
my first pet.
Oh.
Because I was
Oh.
attacked by a dog when
Stop.
I was a kid. So I never really, I'm going to be, I'm 70 years old. I have never in my life felt a connection to an animal because I couldn't let myself. And
Yeah,
then my
Yeah.
best friend, Rose, my lesbian best friend, had this dog, Cosmo, who I loved. And it was the first time I let an
Oh.
animal in my life. And she had him for 16 years and he just died a few months ago. But I had my first experience of grief of an animal. And it shocked me how much pain I was in.
yeah.
Oh.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. The emptiness. It's
Not seeing that little face that I'd be the worst dog owner in the world because if that dog wanted a treat, I'd be like, she's like,
yeah,
stop feeding that dog treats. But that
The
face says,
unconditional
yes.
love. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
so
Yeah.
it's a different level. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
insane.
yeah.
But
But
And the
talk
also,
about
hardest thing.
go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm a talker, so you have to stop
no,
me.
that's
No, it's
okay.
okay.
I was
That's
gonna
okay. You
say
keep going.
there's talk about the what propelled you to write the book, and we should say the name of the book.
It's called The Good Inside the Grief.
Right. Okay.
Good Inside the Grief.
So what propelled you? Tell our viewers.
Well, okay, one night I couldn't sleep, and people count sheep. I was counting my death. And I was thinking about how many people that have died in my life. I don't mean friends, I mean people that I loved dearly with my heart, like deeply loved. And I stopped at 23.
Mm,
And
Oh.
of that many people that I love that deeply. But also, the book came in chapters. There's a piece called A Day in the Death of Daniel,
mhm,
and that's about a young man that I worked with when I was at the center doing a support group for guys with HIV and his
Uh-huh.
death. And then when I went to Afghanistan, I'm sorry, when I went to Bali and met my friend who was a soldier in Afghanistan, in the chapter You Had Me at Afghanistan,
mhm.
I wrote that piece. So I had two pieces, but it wasn't a book, just two, because I've been published before, but I just wanted to get them published.
Right.
So I had three pieces from this book previously published in literary journals before it even came out. But then my good friend Cynthia Bond, who's an amazing writer, she wrote the book called Ruby, that was Oprah's pick, number one New York
Oh
Times
yeah.
bestseller.
Oh
Amazing.
wow.
I mean, people compared it to Toni Morrison. She's an extraordinary writer, and she'd been trying to get me to her writing class for years. And I kept saying, "Honey, I work every weekend with shows. I can't get there at 8 o'clock for an 8 o'clock show." So when the
Right.
pandemic happened, she called me and said, "Come join my class." Perfect, great. And I'm submitting my work to the class, and about 6 months into it, she called me and said, "Don't freak out, but I think you have a book." And I said to her, "Oh my God," I walked around my apartment for a week going, "Is this a book? This be a book?"
Wow.
I think you got a book. I went, "Oh my God, I have a book here." So then I just started collecting as many pieces as I could to, to make it into a book. And I had great editors that helped me, wonderful editors. And it kind of poured out of me and it became a book, and I was looking at
Wow.
my grief of baseball. I mean, I talk about my grief of baseball and get that going and coming back. My grief of losing your job and your identity. Who am I if I'm
Yeah.
homeless
Yes.
kid? That was a really hard one. Who am I? You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
and then when I met my friend Eve Ensler, who's now known as V, who wrote the Vagina Monologues and so many other amazing pieces,
Yeah.
And she said to me, turn this into a cultural arts center. And I'm like, can I even do that? And when I
Yeah.
did that, for 25 years and had amazing success because I worked with amazing people, then when that was over, I was like, who am I now? Like I've been having this high visible job as the artistic director. uh, Um, and what am I now? Like, who am I? And I
Yeah.
was grieving not just the loss of my job, but the loss of my identity.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
void. It's a
Yeah.
huge void in life, you know?
Yeah. What am I now? And I've always had four incarnations. This is my last incarnation as an author, but it's my new incarnation. I think I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm going to write the rest of my life. But yeah, so the book came in pieces. It wasn't like I sat down and wrote a book. It was a very
Right.
different process.
How did you
Yeah.
feel when you finished? Was it like a cathartic feeling or just absolute pride or
Yes, absolutely. Because it was over 6 years that I was writing this book.
Oh,
So
wow.
they
Wow.
always say, yeah, I'm a slow writer. They always say that when you get your book, here's my book. When you get your book
there it
in the
is.
mail, when you get your first box with the books,
Yeah.
when that first box came, I'm not kidding you, my friends. I sobbed like a baby. I just sobbed.
Yeah.
I was like,
It's a
Aw.
okay,
giddiness. Yeah.
it's real. This is it. I know
Aw.
this is it.
Yeah.
And now I'm having this experience of I'm getting so many emails from people I don't know, from people that I barely know, telling me like how much the book affected them, how it changed them, how it's helping them with their relationship with their parents, because it's a
Yeah.
Wow.
father
That's
son story,
amazing.
and
Oh,
just
wow.
touching people's hearts. And that has been like, well, that's the trajectory, right? You want to reach
Yeah.
people and
Yeah.
touch them. Um, and my piece, which was the last piece in the hardest piece about rape, I've had men write me and say, no one talks about male rape or certainly gay male rape. And I've
Mhm.
never told anybody. I've been ashamed. I've kept this a secret. And I'm like, a part of me was like, because I talked to my friend Eve Ensler and I said, how'd you write? She wrote a book called, an amazing book called The Apology. And it's her writing her father apologizing for what she endured.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's a
Wow.
piece. And when I read what she wrote, I called her crying, saying, I can't believe you endured this. And then also, you became the most extraordinary person I know. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eve Ensler is the most extraordinary person I've ever met in my life. And you morphed into this. And how did you write so many private, painful things? And then I mentioned this chapter, and she said, look, here's the deal. It's exposing, it's raw, it's painful. I
Yeah.
think it's beautiful. But if you want to write it, you're going to help people. And that was it. I said,
Yeah.
okay, the last piece in the book, it went, okay, that's going in there.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's to write something that's so vulnerable. That's
Mhm.
but in the end of the day, it's going to help someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is to turn your art and your pain into art into something that's going to help someone
Into a
else
literal resource. Yeah.
yeah, is just such a beautiful thing to do. Like it's just the path the path to all of that. Sorry, I have a thing
That's
here on my. This is on a music stand, my laptop.
All right.
Um, I feel well, I'm a songwriter, so when I write a song and someone tells me it helped them get through something, it helped them because you as a songwriter, you wonder, are people listening? Are they listening and really
Or are they
getting
getting
the
it?
lyrics? Are
Yeah. Are
they
they
getting the
getting it? Yeah.
lyrics? Are they
Yeah.
just listening to the
yeah.
music? And and I've had people tell me that about certain songs of mine that really just like I didn't even know. Like I'll see it sometimes online if somebody writes. Like I toured for a while performing for the troops that are stateside, that the a homeland tour,
God bless
and
you.
I got to meet so many of the families that were here that were
Mm,
waiting for their loved ones that were overseas. And
Right.
so I see there in a thread, this was back when MySpace was out.
Oh my
This
God. Yeah.
woman wrote in this Army Wives page, on this Army Wives page, you have to hear the song, The Reason I Breathe, which was my song. It helped me get through my husband's deployment. And I was like, wow, like that just made me feel, oh my God, like I had no idea someone I never met was moved by that song. So it means something when you create something and it
yeah.
And
touches
it
other
Great.
people.
resonates.
By
Yeah.
the way, that's a great title. The Reason I Breathe.
Thank
Oh,
you.
It's a
Yes.
great song. It's a great
yeah.
song.
And
Yeah.
Thank you.
When Lily interviewed me, she said to me, "There's so many song references through your book. There's lyrics everywhere in your book. Like, why is that?" And I said, "Because I was with a songwriter for 20 years, love of my life, and but I love music, and I'm a music nut, and." I quote Laura Nero. I quote so many people in my book because in my world, I live in lyrics. Lyrics are
Hmm.
just in my
Oh,
head all the time. And in the piece "How I Met God," Laura Nero's got this quote from her album New York Tenderberry, where she says, "Sidewalks and pigeons, you look like a religion, but you feel like a city to me." But no, I'm sorry.
Oh,
"Sidewalks and pigeons, you look like a city, but you feel like a religion to me." And that's my feeling of New York.
oh,
you know
wow. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
and then that comes back in that story when we had the New York blackout, and my friend
Oh,
and I'm screaming to the sky. I'm screaming because I'm so happy that the city went black. It was the biggest blackout ever because the city was mourning my friend. The city that never sleeps was
oh,
sleeping because
yeah.
my friend died. And I end up bringing that back and saying, because I was screaming to the sky saying, "Sidewalks and pigeons, you look like a city, but you feel like a religion to me." Because New York is a religion. New
It
York is like,
is. It
you
is.
have to you have to you have to weep for her broken streets, but you have to live in New York and really be an artist in New York. It's a tough battle,
Oh,
and
Yeah.
oh,
and
yeah.
she will wear you down.
Wow.
So yeah, so music is my other love. I'm not a songwriter, obviously, but I
There's
love
such a
music.
close, connection to,
Hmm.
being an author and being a songwriter, because it's exactly what you guys are saying. Your piece could mean something to someone that maybe it wasn't your intent that you were writing, but
Right.
they've interpreted a certain way and they've, it resonated with them. And it doesn't matter, like it doesn't, like JD, like that woman found that song and that it helped her with her husband's deployment where it might have helped somebody else with a death or a move or,
Yes. Hmm.
so it's still that feeling as a creator that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it meant something to someone and it, it bounces back, like you feed on that a little bit, like that's amazing. It's what you ultimately want, you
Well,
know?
Yeah.
this great thing happened when I did the reading at the center where I used to work in this big, gorgeous 200-seat theater. Um, my best friend was sitting next to this woman, and she had, obviously a wig on and a big surgical mask. And she said, "How are you? Are you okay?" Woman said, "No, not really." She goes, "What's the matter?" And she said, "Well, my mother died of cancer 2 years ago. I have cancer. My dad has cancer, and I'm his caregiver." And she said,
Oh,
and
oh,
one day I was so bereft with grief that I Googled the word grief. This is the day my book came out, by the way. And this thing came up, the good inside the grief. And I'm like, "Well, where's the good in the grief?" She said, "Well, I read the book from cover to cover. It blew my mind. It helped me so much. It's raining, it's cold, I don't feel well. But then I realized this dude knows Lily Tomlin, and I love Lily. So I came by myself."
wow.
And
Oh,
then
wow.
when it was over, I had this long line of people to sign books, like a huge line of people to sign books. And she said, "I didn't even bring my book with me. I forgot, but I need to meet this guy." So my friend Cindy, being Italian and a mother, says, like, "Don't worry." The people on the line are going, "Oh, excuse me, there's a line." She's like, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." She just drove her right to me, you know.
That's an Italian.
Give
Yeah.
me an Italian
Yeah.
mother, right?
Yeah.
And
The Italian mother. Yeah.
and this woman looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, "I'm going to read your book again. It helped me so much. It like really,
Wow.
it gave me something a way to feel good about what I'm experiencing." Well, it's not, now I'm in tears because I'm Italian. I'm a big crier,
Of
and I'm like,
course.
that's the trajectory of my book. And it was like that moment. I went, if I did nothing else with the book, I helped this woman who's has
Right.
obviously a horrible path with grieving
Yeah.
and
It's so, everybody handles
Yeah.
it different. And that's the thing I love about the book is that everybody handles it in their own way. Like, unfortunately, I'm one of those people that I try and find the humor.
Mhm.
And
Mm.
I,
That's
my
important too.
timing's usually good. I will say that. My timing's usually pretty good. But um I wish that from an earlier age I would have started writing down some of the laughter through tears moments. Dolly Parton, laughter through tears is my favorite emotion from
Oh,
Steel from
yeah.
Steel Magnolias.
I
And
was
Right.
I
gonna
wish
say,
because they're
yeah,
they're the ones that stay with you.
yeah.
Like those moments stay with you. Like my aunt passed away at like 88, and she was just a part of my every single day life. Because
Oh,
my mother's
yeah.
older sister lived one house away from us, so from the time I was little, out there every day. And then when I was older and had moved to Florida, and she bought a condo at the same place, so she was right across the courtyard
Right.
from me.
I was gonna say next door, across
Yeah,
the
right.
street
Like
somewhere. Yeah.
you were over a million times. She'd bring meatballs over to us in the middle of a podcast. She would bring meatballs over, shuffle over. But
I love
when
it.
she passed away, my cousin and I, her daughter, we were in the funeral home, and we had gone through the first funeral, and then there was a military service for her because she had served for so long, and it was for some reason like even more moving than the personal one, where we were all eulogizing her or whatever. But to see that flag get folded in the
Yeah,
the
yeah.
military thing, and my cousin is just in a flood of tears, and she was so like like paying attention. Whereas like I was crying so hard that I couldn't pay attention. And I
Mhm.
just remember looking over at her and saying, I'm so glad I could be here to be your rock while I was
Oh,
crying worse than her. And then she started laughing and I started laughing. But like those moments mean so much, just I think it's because there's this shred of healing that comes
hmm.
from like being able to smile in adversity through tears, in mourning and grieving. Because I remember when my dad passed away, I was only like 19, and or no, it's 18, yeah. And
That was young to lose
yeah,
your dad.
yeah,
Yeah,
he was
very
he
young.
was 43, so that was even, worse.
Yeah.
And it was, a fast acting kind of cancer, like
Mm.
diagnosed in June and
Oh
then
my
died in
God.
February.
Oh,
And I think like at that age, you don't even know what to do for someone. So my friends from high school had come to the house, and we were all like, it was my four besties, and we were all like laying on my bed, and somebody said something, that started like a giggle fest, and we were giggling, and I remember putting my hand over my mouth because like it felt bad to be laughing, you know what I
mhm.
mean? And
Yeah.
like now I look back on it and I go, oh my God, like that was a moment that, that could have like changed how I grieve, like I know it's not the great thing to burst into laughter in the middle of something serious or sad or whatever. But I think from that moment, that's kind of like where I got it, because I felt like I don't want to feel like that ever, that
Yeah.
you can't smile when you think about that person. Like if you're at a
Right.
funeral
That's
and
true. Yeah.
you're thinking about the good times, you don't want to remember them like they are in that box,
And
like you want to remember the good times.
you said an important thing, Denise. I mean, so to me, the goodness of the grief, part of it, that there is laughter and
There
crazy
is.
things happen, and and you can find the humor in it, and it's okay to laugh about it, and it's okay to find things funny.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I have a
Every
cousin
day
of
we
mine.
tell a story about my aunt.
Yeah,
Every day, and my
Yeah.
mom has like, my mother is at that stage of life where she has no short-term memory. So it's like talking to Dory from Finding Nemo, right? And but if you recall a story about my aunt, my mother will remember it in detail. And that's
Oh.
the connection now that I'm finding that I have to have with my mom, is to
yeah,
not talk about what happened yesterday or what she can't remember that she had for breakfast, but talk about the things from a while back that she's so clear on that it's mind blowing,
Hmm.
and that's where I'm finding this reconnect. Because even just last month, I said it's really hard because I know that she's so happy that we have this new house and it's so much
right.
bigger and it's near the water and it's fantastic. Yet the day that we moved in, I was doing a video tour, on my phone with her. And we went through the whole house, room for room, boxes everywhere, whatever. I even like walked down to the water and all that stuff. And at the end of the conversation, she said, "So did you guys move yet?"
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it broke my
oh,
heart. Like it really broke my heart.
oh
And
man.
for a couple of weeks after that, I just kept saying to my wife, like, it's so hard to remember that this is my mom. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
even know how to be with her or what to talk about. And now I'm finding talk about the stuff that she does remember.
When my dad, I always said the good that came out when my mother died. My mother died 22 years before my dad died, and if you know from the book, we had our battles, and we weren't very close. And so I would call and say, "Hey, Dad, how are you?" He said, "Da da 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 da." He always this thing about don't always don't keep let your gas tank be less than half full. It's good for the engine, not good for the engine. I'm like, okay. Um, and so, but then I'd say, here's mom? And I took my mother, and he and I would never talk, say hardly anything. So when my
Right.
mother passed away, I had to talk to my father every Sunday. And what would I talk
yeah,
to him? And I
Yeah.
realized that he knew stats about baseball. I'm a sports guy. He knew stats about baseball and football. Like you could ask him, what was Joe DiMaggio's RBI in 19, like he knew
ah,
everything,
That's
you know.
incredible.
I would just get him on a tear about baseball and football. Sometimes I ask him the
yeah,
same questions I asked him a month ago just to get him engaged.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
some common
yeah.
ground. And the common ground becomes your pathway to having a communication with somebody, even though things are very different. And with
Yeah.
your mother, it's
Yeah.
like, okay, just look at what's your pathway. So you
Yeah.
can't talk about this. She doesn't know you got the house, but you can stay connected through the past.
Right. That's what I'm finding. And I love it because, you know, very few kids, I think, are interested in their family, their great aunts and uncles. You know,
Yeah,
you just kind of know what's in front of you. I think, as a kid, like
yeah.
for me, it was always different. Like I was that kid that would stay at the family dinners after all the other kids went out to, play or went off with their friends
Right.
or got, picked up
Yeah,
because their friend drives and they took off. I would love staying and with my older relatives, and I would
me
always
too.
ask my mom about,
Yeah.
my great aunts and uncles and stuff like, that were around when I was just a baby and I see them in
Yeah,
pictures, but they weren't part of my life because they had passed away, so I wanted to know more about them. So I love that kind of connection. And one of the things, I think I read it somewhere, God knows it was probably a fucking meme, but it's, one every once in a while one will hit. And there was one that said that the anticipatory grief that you feel as your parents age is something we don't talk enough about.
Right.
And it's
it's
so very true, like, but JD, your mom's, 92.
it's very hard to do that. Yeah, I'm going through that now with my mom. And my mom, thank God, she's sharper than I am mentally. She's sharp as a tack.
Yeah,
I can't put anything past her, but she's not able to walk like she used to because she had the two strokes. And
right.
so my mom never stayed home.
Mhm.
So, like what you were saying, John, like it's different. How do you relate, like to my mom when was never home? She was always, going somewhere. Like if she was home, she was sick. There was something wrong
Right,
with her,
right,
like her
right.
whole life. Like she was
Yeah,
just never home. And now she never goes, hardly ever goes out. We take her out, but it's hard to get her out. It's hard to get her in and out of the car. She needs so much assistance, but I try to find ways to make her enjoy life again because she is so like sad sitting in the chair all the time. Like she just wants to like not,
yeah, my mom,
always
yeah,
talking about she
same
wants to
thing.
die.
Yeah,
And it's like, and I'm like, but you have your grandchildren around you. Like I try to tell her, people your age don't have their great grandchildren that are with them every single day. They're sitting in nursing homes and maybe their family's
yeah,
only visiting them once a year for Christmas
yeah,
time.
yeah,
Like I try to cheer her up,
Right.
but you have to find that thing to relate with them. You're so right, John. Like
yeah,
You-
I try to find something to cheer her up to start talking about to get her to be happy in some
Engage,
way.
engage
Engage.
somehow. Yeah.
Yeah.
With my dad, the same thing, and he'd say, I want to go, I want to go, and I'd say, why? Tell me why, Dad. Why do you want to go? Well, what's that about? Well, I want to be with your mother, and all that kind of stuff. He also had a lot of physical things going wrong, but I'd say to him, but you get so excited when the grandkids come. You
Yeah.
Hmm.
like a Christmas tree. You get so excited about this. You get so excited about watching football. He gets frustrated if his team's not winning. But there's things that you still love. And
Yeah.
if you still love watching a football game, if you still love a glass of wine, if you still love when your niece jumps on your great niece jumps great granddaughter rather jumps on your lap and can't wait to see you, you have
Mm.
those things, and you've got family around, you've got your
Yeah.
nephews, your grandchildren around.
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
and hold on to that because you have so much more than many people at 92 and 93.
Yeah.
And
Right.
he would
Right.
say that. But I did say to him, it's in the book, I did say to him, I said, Dad, are you afraid to die? He said, I don't know if I'm afraid, but I feel like I'm going to still miss things, but I'm being greedy. I saw my kids get married. I saw my kids have
Yeah.
grandchildren. I've seen them graduate. I've seen so much. I won't say that with my great grandchildren, but I said to him, I said, I saw Betty White being interviewed when she was 99. And they said, are you afraid of death, dying? And she said, oh, no, not at all. And they said, why? And she said, well, my mother always said to me, the greatest mystery in the entire world is what happens when we die. That's the biggest secret. So when you die, you get to know the greatest mystery. If there's nothing, there's nothing. But if there is something, you get to know the secret, the ultimate secret.
Yeah.
And
That's a
and
good
my
point.
and my dad went, "Oh, I love that." I said, "Yeah, Dad, you're going to get to know the ultimate secret pretty soon." And I said, "When you go, hold on to that." And he said, "Oh, I will, I will." And he kept saying to him on the phone, he kept saying, "I love that Betty White story." I said, "Yeah, Dad."
Aw.
I said, guess what? You get to know the secret,
Yeah.
and that's really a big comfort to him.
That's
Because
very sweet. Yeah.
you know what gets hard at that age is like with my mom, she was such a social person. All
Yeah,
of her friends are gone.
Yeah.
yeah.
So she's like, my friends are all dead. I can't even call a friend, and then the
Yeah.
other day it was kind of funny, Denise, like when you say when you try to find the humor and stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
she says, "Oh, I called my friend Anna, whatever, whatever." And I remember this lady from a long time ago, like growing up, and I said, why did you call her? Did you call her to wish her a Merry Christmas? She goes, I just really wanted to call her to see if she was still alive.
Check
And
in.
I wanted to see if her husband was
Scratch
still
that off
alive.
the scratch that
She,
off the
she
Rolodex.
wanted
Right,
to wish
right.
her a Merry Christmas, but she was more curious if she's still alive.
I
And isn't
know.
it, we get to that point, and then, like to your point, John, like you're in your own self, you're getting a glimpse into your future. Like this is what happens, like, or did you say that, Denise? Like
Yeah. I
you're getting,
worry. I
this is
worry.
your next, is this my next chapter? Like,
Yeah.
like if
Right.
if you do live to be 92, like I don't know that I don't take as good a care of myself as my mom did. So I
Yeah.
don't know that I'm going to make 92, and I don't have kids. Like I always tell her, I don't have people that are going to be taking care of me. Like we're here for you, so
Yeah.
but it's just it's a circle of life that's hard to find the good in the grief is a beautiful thing. Like to have that
Yeah.
title, just the
It's so
title alone is a
necessary right now.
beautiful
Like
Let me
I
tell you,
just
title.
feel like isn't it
here's
that like a lot of people are what's a good way to say it? We're in our fields, like you said, about everything, about what's going on in the country, about our families, about everything. We're all highly aware of what we're feeling, and yet at the same time, I still think there's people that don't recognize that they're grieving something, whether it is democracy, whether it
right.
is their, families that are now split, if it's, I even when
Your
friends
aging
move
parent.
away, you
Yeah.
know, yeah,
Yeah,
But Denise, even your aging parent,
yeah,
that's a good, slowly watching them go.
it's
That's a real,
yeah.
grieving,
it's
yeah,
every reality. It's a grief. I'll tell you where the title came from. I had a director who directed a bunch of things for me, and including this great musical called about the life of Dusty Springfield. I can't think of the title right now. The singer Dusty Springfield, and um, and when he passed away. very young, at like 55. When he passed away, he had two friends, mostly his friend Scott and his husband Peter, that I knew kind of on the, just socially, but didn't know them well. But Scott and I were going to plan his memorial. And in the 2 months of planning the memorial, we got to be really close, and I got to love these guys. So I'm speaking to welcome everybody, introduce everybody. And I said, here's the thing that I've been thinking about. I said, the good inside the grief is that I said the thing I was thinking about was that I got to become friends with Scott and Peter through this course of mourning and planning a memorial for our friends, but that's the good inside the grief. And as I
Yeah.
said it, I went, "Oh my God!" And then I thanked people. I ran to my booth with my lighting guys. I said, "Give me a piece of paper. Give me a piece of paper." And I put it down, and I went, "I just got the title of my book. I just got it. I just got it."
It's true. It's so
But my
true
title
though.
came from somebody dying and planning the memorial. You know?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
the
that's
thing about it too is that it's almost like taboo to use the word good and grief together, you
Right.
know?
mhm.
And that's, I think, a huge um, thing that people shy away from. If you're gonna like if we're gonna grieve, we're gonna go hard and we're gonna cry and we're gonna go through tissues and we're gonna stay in bed for days and you know, uh, but there's so many different ways to do it that it doesn't have to be the way that you see in a movie or you see, your older relatives were so
Right.
different back then, right? Like the old Italian mothers throwing themselves on coffins and shit like that. Like there's different ways now. And I think memory, remembering, like I thought like it was weird at my aunt's, not weird, but at my aunt's funeral, it was at this church that we all went to, like for CD classes, for
Right.
your communion and your
Yeah.
confirmation and all that. Like
Right.
we were very familiar with it, and it had then like turned into the funeral home, that was like one of the well-known ones where I grew up, and they had asked if we wanted to put together a memory board with,
Mm.
with pictures, and so my four cousins we're just sitting on the floor, in the empty house and going through a box of photos. And for the first time ever, I think I can say that we all went, I never saw this picture before. I never saw. Do you really, like you look through pictures all the time and it's the same ones that you've
Yeah.
seen,
Yeah. Yeah.
like back then, Photomat gave you doubles whether you wanted them or not.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody
And
had them,
you
right? But these were
so
all
readily
pictures that we
take a
hadn't
picture.
seen. And
Yeah.
we were
Yeah.
genuinely going, look how happy. And I'm not saying my aunt was a miserable person, but
Right.
curmudgeon comes to mind.
I had a miserable
Curmudgeon,
aunt too.
curmudgeon comes to mind. But in these
Right.
pictures, she was so genuinely happy and
Yeah.
smiling. And I'm like, oh my God, if we put these pictures up on the board, like people are going to be like, what was going on here? Where was this
But
woman back? So
But that's the beauty of it, though.
yeah,
I mean,
but they
every,
all were memory things,
right.
like
And
we could
everyone,
say
so
that
many
was
people
a
say
pool
to me,
party.
yeah, they say there's so much humor in your book. Your book's so funny at places. And I'm like, yeah. And they go, because Lily asked me, she said, did you make that intentional? I said, Lily, I didn't write jokes. I said, honey, I just wrote my life.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
but even though, she goes, but there's so much humor. There's so many funny things in your book, even though there's a lot of tragic and sad things. And I said, well, part of it was I see through the world through that lens
yeah,
of what's
yeah,
funny here, what
yeah,
can be
Yeah.
funny. And what you said was interesting, Denise, before because we had to learn how to grieve differently. I'm not going to grieve like my family did,
yes,
falling off and pounding the floor and doing and doing all that. I don't need to grieve in that way, like it's
right,
the end of the world,
yeah,
because it's the Buddhist principle. If I spent this time in Bali with these amazing Balinese people who lived in a village, mud huts, mud floors. I mean, I spent all this time with them in Bali. It's part of it's in the book, I think. And I said to them, you know, you say that you don't fear death. Why do you not fear death? And they said to me, because it is the inevitable. We know it's going to happen. If you accept being alive, you accept dying.
hmm
Yeah.
If you accept life, you accept death. And I have what's the great quote? I love this quote. It's um, The fear of death follows the fear of life. A man who lives is fully prepared to die at any time. Mark Twain. So the fear of
Mm,
death follows the fear of life. A man who lives fully is who is fully prepared to die at any time. That's the way you have to live because
Yeah.
yeah,
get
it's
hit by a car
inevitable.
tomorrow. I can hit by
You're
a
right.
car tomorrow.
You know,
While this book was happening, one of my dear friends at 65 fell down a flight of stairs and died instantly.
oh my
Mm.
Poof,
gosh.
gone. Poof, gone.
Oh,
So, but JD, you were going to ask a question. You were going to say something. I
Well,
think I
I was
interrupted.
going to say, my mom, she, in her attempt to, just went away to Savannah for New Year's Eve, and in her Italian mom way to try to get me to guilt me to stay here and not go away for New Year's Eve. She said it could be my last one. Every year she says it could be my last one, and I said to her, it could be my last one.
Right.
Nobody's promised another year.
yeah, yeah.
It kind of like stopped that, right? But Joni's like, Granny, you said that last year and I ran the numbers and you're still here. So Joni is my niece or her
Yeah.
granddaughter.
Uh,
But
Yeah.
you're right. No one is promised tomorrow, no matter what
no.
age you are.
And there's
So it's
no like you said, you had a friend fall down the stairs and die instantly. It's
you
like
don't think of that,
I
as a
don't
thing.
think you can prepare. Like even if someone's going through a lengthy illness and everybody knows it's coming, it's gonna happen, it's coming. When it happens, it's so final. Like now you're done grieving the when is it gonna happen or it's gonna happen to it's happened, and now comes the real grief. So it's just very I don't it's a crazy thing because like I said, I think everybody goes through, a different way of grieving. And when you said like we're grieving for our country, like it struck me that grief doesn't have to be about death.
Right.
It doesn't have to be,
Anything, yeah.
yeah, it can be a void. It can be, like I've been living in England for it'll be 15 years this year, and I still grieve not being in Florida with my
Your
parents, with my
family,
friends,
yeah.
like just those little dip in and dip outs are great and everything. But on a day-to-day basis, like sometimes there's a hole that's there, and it's difficult to come to terms with. And I don't think it'll make a difference how long I'm here. That'll always be there.
Yeah. Well, I have the same thing with New York. My heart is in New
Right.
York, you know,
Exactly.
and and the thing with faith, because I talk about it in the book, like I'm the young kid who walked with pebbles in my shoes for a week, like the apostles to try and feel close to God. I wanted
Aw,
God so badly in my life. Oh, I wanted God so badly. So
aw.
when I lost my faith, that I was grieving. I mean, I got it back in a different way. But when I denounced my Catholicism and left the Catholic Church because the Catholic Church did not want me or accept me, and I couldn't be a queer guy in the Catholic Church,
Right.
losing my religion, losing my faith was a big grief, you
Yeah.
know, a huge grief. And how did I reconcile that? And many people, I have a friend of mine who when her brother died, she lost faith in everything. Like she let her, she believes in nothing. Like, how could God take someone so precious?
Yep.
And and I said to her, but you're not understanding what life is. You're
Hmm.
living in some concept of life that doesn't exist. Your brother went too early. Absolutely, it's horrible. But he went, and came on this earth to live and to die. When that happens, we have no control over that.
Yeah.
You know,
Right,
and
Yeah.
right.
The Buddhist principle is I can't control what I can't control. That's my mantra. I can't
Yeah,
control what I can't
Right.
control. You can't control that. But to say you don't believe in anything anymore because that happened, but do you not believe in the love you felt for him, the
Yeah.
humor? Not
Yeah.
believe in the fact that's the extraordinary things about human beings that we can love so deeply
Yeah.
and so selflessly, and that you love this man so much that you think you don't believe in anything anymore. Strip that back and look at what you had.
Yeah.
That love, that love should be honored with not grieving in a way that, you now become someone who is bitter and angry.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's not
Yeah.
what love was about,
Right.
you know. So where's all the joy? Where's all the goodness? Find the good
Right.
in grief. There we go. Back to that title.
Yeah.
It's
That
come
title
back.
is a
Yes.
great
It's
title
so
because
true though. It really is. But John, let me ask you this: like, did I don't know? Maybe this is my way of thinking that queers are built a little bit stronger, you know, and maybe it's because of the constant struggle, the internal struggle, the external struggles that we go through, the bullying, the humiliation that people try and throw at us and whatnot makes us stronger. So do you feel like we handle grief better? Because sometimes I do. I feel like we got a leg up on it.
I think you're 100% right, Denise. I was a queer kid in the '60s. I mean, because I'm 70, and all that I went through, all we go through as queer people in this world is that we don't see ourselves represented anywhere, or we didn't, growing
Yeah.
up. There was nobody
Yeah.
on TV. There was no
Our
representation
generation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our
any,
generation.
anywhere. And you have the internal struggle, external, like you said, and the family and society. And I think that, yeah, we have to find a way past the fact that we're outcasted, or we were outcasted. We still are in so many ways. I mean,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
as I get older as a queer person, there's very few states I would ever live in. I mean, it
Right.
gets
Oh my
smaller and
God. Yeah.
smaller, where I would feel okay to live as a queer man. So I think, yeah, we are naturally, it's like someone with a handicap. It's the same thing. You got to find a way in the world, a world that doesn't recognize you or accept you, to
Right.
find a way where you know that you belong and that you
Right.
feel good about yourself. I mean,
I
I
mean,
had
we
so
get
much.
the luxury of like talking about our feelings because we came from parents that were from a different generation that didn't
Yeah,
want to hear your shit. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we weren't brought up the way kids are today, where
totally.
everything is, what are you feeling? What are you feeling? Well, we'll talk about what you're feeling. Like that wasn't a thing for us. That was not, you know, so
You know,
we had
my,
Yeah,
to
they
learn
used to
that.
say children should be seen and not heard. When
Right.
I had
Yeah.
older aunts and uncles that would say that
Yeah.
children should be seen and not heard. They
Right.
weren't
So
my
we weren't
favorite
we
aunts and
weren't
uncles.
used to talking about what
yeah,
we were
and
feeling.
I say in my
Yeah,
book that it's very powerful to me that my mother once said to me. She looked at me. She said, "Oh, honey, you have to understand something. We had no time to talk about our feelings. We had to work.
Yeah.
I worked two
true.
jobs. I was a
That's
waitress, and
true.
she was like, we couldn't sit around and think about our feelings. I had to get you kids
Yeah,
fed. And, she goes, I mean, working two jobs as a waitress, and you're putting food on the table, and you're getting, it was. She was
yeah,
like, there was never any time to even think about what I felt.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That luxury, thank God, but they didn't have that luxury.
Right.
Right.
So
That's true. That's
and
true.
so, and I think that, thank God we can explore what we feel, and then, the other thing is, I think you go to therapy, you do whatever spiritual path you can to
Right.
heal, because, we all had internalized homophobia. There's no way we couldn't have it. We were inherited it to us because we were in a society saying, you don't belong. I mean, my God, I'll never forget when Personal Best came out and the two women kissed in
Yeah,
it, right?
Yes.
yeah,
Oh my
Ira
God.
Hemingway and I remember sitting in a restaurant and hear this table behind me talking like that kiss was like they were Charles Manson, they were murdering people,
Oh my
like
God.
Yeah.
venom and the hate and the disgust about it, and they just were going on and on and on with this extraordinary amount of venom
Like
towards what it was.
visceral. Yeah. Visceral reaction.
And I'm thinking it was a kiss,
Yeah.
And
a kiss.
the movie
Yeah.
ended with her going back to the guy. So that
Yeah.
was, the way they would make that movie in the 70s end,
Of
Right,
you
course.
right.
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
They
But
should remake,
I
they should remake that and change it.
I know. I
they
still I still
should.
hate Jessica Stein
Totally
because of that
do
ending.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
remake that movie. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
alternate ending,
Yeah.
yeah. But I
But yeah,
think
we
that the
just weren't
title
we
of
were
your book is so it makes you want to pick it up and read it. It's a great title for that reason. Like it's,
right.
like books have titles and whatever, but this title grabs you and makes you, especially if you are grieving, makes you want to pick it up. Like, what is this about?
Yeah.
It's just a
Yeah.
really great title
And
And
for
so
I've had
timely
that.
right now.
I've had
God.
bookstores say to me, "Oh my God, I'll put this book out for the cover alone." And I
Yeah.
had this
yeah,
wonderful, wonderful woman, a great artist named Jennifer Berkowitz, amazing artist. like renowned, and I couldn't afford her, but she said, "What can you afford? I want to do your book cover." And I said to her
Wow.
that, yeah, she said the title's got to be. I said the title's got to be whimsical. It's got to be whimsy. I want yellow and brightness. I don't want people to pick up the book and think, "Oh, this is a heavy book or a
This is
downer."
dark. Yeah, this
Yeah,
is going to be
dark and
dark.
down.
Yeah.
There are dark parts. And this house that on the cover was the house on East Third Street where my life completely changed, where all the bad stuff started happening. She didn't know that. She just
Oh.
took pictures out of my photo albums, and then
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
mock-ups. She put this upside down, and I'm like, oh my God, that's where my life turned upside down. So I was just
Oh my
guided by,
God.
and what she designed is like, I mean, I've had bookstores literally go, I'm putting it out. I'm putting it out for you. What is
Wow.
it?
That's
I would
great.
pick it up in a minute. So I was blessed. I've been blessed all along with this book, from Lily and Jane to artists to, I mean, I just have been surrounded by goodness.
I feel like that's because
Great.
it was meant to be. Like I
Hmm.
Yeah.
feel like, like I said, the book is so timely because
Yeah.
I don't care who you are, you've experienced grief in some way, whether you're experiencing it every day, whether it's, you're grieving any, like you said, the loss of a job, the loss of, whatever, a person, a pet,
Hmm.
anything that creates a void in the moment.
Hmm.
And everybody is going through it, and this is so perfectly timely because like JD said, the title grabs you. It doesn't, and sometimes like you say there are dark parts and I get that, but they're yours. You know what I mean? So someone else is going to see that, that tragedy or read about that tragedy or whatever, but there's so much humor in it as well that it doesn't feel like the whole book is dark. There's so
Yeah.
much uplifting in it that's what people need because I like
Yeah.
I said before, I think there's this stigma with the word grief that it's a it's depression, it's darkness, it's crying, it's I can't eat, I can't I can't do this, I can't. And I just think that you shouldn't be afraid to smile if
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
strikes you.
And I say to people all the time, people don't know how to sit with their grief.
Yeah,
Just
Yeah.
just sit
Yeah.
with it quietly,
yeah,
and you don't have to cry, but just sit and think of what you're feeling. What are you missing? But I keep saying, everyone goes, what, like this expression, there's a hole in my heart. No, I don't accept that at all. Because by saying there's a hole in my heart is saying they took something from me. They took nothing from you. They filled your heart. They
yeah,
filled Nobody who
Right.
died, all the people I loved who died in my life, they only gave me stuff. They took
mhm,
nothing from me. Their death, their physical body took me from
yeah,
this earth plane, right? They're gone.
yeah,
But no, 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 no. There's no hole in my heart. My heart was filled by
Yeah.
these people.
yeah. And the
Loved.
memories are
The
what you hold
memory,
on to.
and the memories are the wonderful that fill your heart.
Yeah,
My friend Brad, who passed away not even 6 months ago, um, all I do all day long, it constantly pops in my head, and I'm never thinking about bad things. I'm thinking about
right,
the
Yeah.
right, exactly,
thinking about,
exactly.
oh my God, all the wonderful things we did, all the great work we did with homeless kids, we did extraordinary things. We did extraordinary things together. We realized there was never a float in gay pride anywhere in the world that was just for homeless kids, just for youth.
Oh,
So
Oh.
wow.
we built a float for them. I can't tell the whole, it's a whole story, but we did all these things that we were like, okay, my friend said, we want to take three homeless kids and three in-school kids to New York because it was the
Hmm.
Gay Games, 25th anniversary of Stonewall, and the Gay and Lesbian Health Conference, which we always were a part of.
Oh, wow.
And
Hmm.
he was like, so we did a contest with in-school kids wrote an essay as to why they should go. And I'm like, but it's nonprofit. My boss was like, we don't have the money for that. It's like $6,000. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
And my friend Brad said, I have an idea. And so he got those big water bottles you get when, when you get water at a thing at work. And he put a big sign up saying, how many pennies will it take to get queer kids to New York for the gay
Uh,
game, right? And so he put them in three different parts of the building, the health clinic, different three. So like 2 days later, he says, come here, you gotta come upstairs to the health clinic. I go in there and there's $10 bills, $20 bills. There's
wow. That's great.
we raised more than enough money
Oh, that's
just
Wow.
just by
fantastic.
and took these kids, and then of course we realized, oh my God, we got to order a bunch of pizza and have pizza penny rolling, because we had to roll up all these pennies and nickels and dimes, and we had so many of them. But through that, his vision to just say, we'll do it this way. I'm like, we're never going to raise enough money to take these kids,
Yeah.
and we,
Yeah, yeah,
But I think about those things. I don't think about him being so sick with diabetes. He had diabetes, was horrible for him. I don't think about all the horrible things, that he went through in life, because we all go through bad stuff. None of that comes to mind, because, like
yeah.
I said, he filled me with
That's
nothing but
true.
great memories.
You
Yeah.
tend to remember the good things from the people instead of
Oh, yeah.
the maybe
Yeah.
their last days.
Definitely.
I always feel like I live with a particularly unique type of grief because I went through when I was in my younger years infertility, and I never could have children. I tried back then. There wasn't as much as they could do that they could do now, and it's weird to grieve for a child that never existed, like, but all the time you're going through that, the procedures and surgeries and
Yeah.
all the treatments, you think it's going to happen, you think one day it's going to happen, and you picture what that child is going to be like, and then finally one day when you realize it's not going to happen. It's like it's such a weird thing because you grieve for someone that never even really was here.
But
But
that's, yeah, I get that. Like, I
through
totally
that,
get that.
yeah, I
When I
mean,
came
I
out,
even,
JD, you're grieving two things. You're grieving the life that you wanted,
what could have been, right?
the life
right,
that you wanted for yourself,
Yeah.
that you wanted to, and you're grieving the reality that you're not going to be a mother.
Right.
yeah, and
Yeah.
And
and it was
they're
it
big,
was
they're big things.
Yeah.
it's a big thing, and it's something I don't think people would understand if you tried to talk about that, because it's not like when people lose a child. But it's kind of like it because that child almost becomes real to you. Like I knew how I wanted to decorate the nursery and everything, but I never did that because I never got that far.
Yeah.
Like it never happened at all. But out of that, for me to finally feel better because I just couldn't fix that problem. I couldn't make that happen for me because
Right.
the doctor said to me, it's not impossible, but it's not probable. And I
Right.
hate to see you go into all kinds of debt with any more infertility treatments because back then insurance didn't cover any of
Oh
it,
my God. Yeah. Yeah.
$5,000 a try. Um, I started playing music and I had to feel good again. So I started taking vocal lessons and I totally turned it around. And I probably would have never had a band and started writing music and all of that if I had a child because I wouldn't have been in the bars playing,
Right.
music. So I guess that was the good that came out of that.
But you
I
can,
would
Yeah.
I think you can grieve dreams that you have to let go of. You know what I mean?
true.
Like, I
That would that.
distinctly remember when I came out to my mom, um, later in life, JD and I both like late in life. Um, I had to come out to my big Italian family, husband too. I was married at the time.
Oh my
Um,
God.
but yeah, my mom said I need to sit with this, and I was like, what, like, why, what are you having a problem with? Like, is you think I'm going to change? Because I'm not, nothing about me is, I'm not going to shave my head and wear a baseball hat backwards and show up in, Crocs like I never have. So what do you mean? And she said, I need to grieve the future that I thought was coming. You know what I
Beautiful.
mean? And I was
She
like,
probably thought
Very
grandchildren.
astute of her. Very
yeah,
astute.
the husband, the marriage, the children, the, like, and of course the unknown, like, she was the fear of the unknown, like, because we were so close with my in-laws, you know, but it was one of those things where I'm like, well, that, we none of that ever changed. My ex-husband and I were like best friends. The families did every holiday together still, whether we were together or not. So I lucked out in that sense, but it took me a minute to understand what she had to grieve. You know what I mean? Like, so you can literally grieve for something that didn't happen.
And then
Yeah,
think about
exactly.
what parents are going through with trans children, right?
Exactly.
I
Right,
have so many friends, and it's like, yeah, you have to let, I've said to so many of my young friends, you've got to let your parents grieve the child that they wanted. They have to love the child they have,
100%. Yeah.
now a woman or a man, but you've got to let them grieve the child they had and
Yeah.
what they
yeah, that's right.
thought that life was going to be like.
Right.
I mean, my
Right.
biggest regret in the world is that I never had a kid, because when I was with men at that point, when I was young enough, it wasn't even a possibility. We never even
Right.
Right,
thought the
right.
idea of having a kid was not, it was out of the question.
Yeah.
And I love kids and I want to be a father in the worst way, but I had to, you know, um, Mia Farrow wrote a book years ago called What Falls Away. And I love the title. And I'm like, you got to let one dream fall away, another dream in. JD,
Yeah.
you're a perfect example of that. The dream of having that kid fell away, and the new dream was becoming a musician and a singer and a
Yeah,
song.
Yeah.
So you've got to, that's also a grieving process. Let something fall away. I have friends who are actors who are in their 70s still going to workshops and this and trying to get a part here and a part there. And I'm like, you spent your whole life pursuing a dream. I was an actor for years, but I realized I was a decent actor, not a great actor. I had my moments, but I wanted to be famous, not an actor. And I wanted
Mm.
all the kids who bullied me and beat me up. I wanted to show them that I became something. So once I
yeah,
realized that was just a false hope thing, that I thought, oh, if I become a star, that I'm going to somehow be validated. And so once I let that dream fall away and say I'm not going to act anymore, I woke up one day and said, if I'm not going to act because I survived AIDS, I didn't get it, I want to teach young queer kids how not to get the AIDS virus. So I got the job at the
wow.
center. I started teaching kids how for 10 years, opening the drop-in centers and doing great work with homeless kids. And when I was done with that, I didn't know what I was going to do. And then my boss called me and said, hey, we're opening this new building called the Village, and I want you to run some programs. I was there for a year, and I said to him, I want to transform these two spaces into theaters. Like, if we're going to have a cultural arts center, let's have a cultural arts program. And I want a title, and I want a staff, and I want this, and I want that, and I want to do all this. And they will look at me and they went, okay, ask for, they're like, okay, you're making sense.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so I became the artistic director of the Lily Tomlin Jane Wagner Cultural Arts Center. If
Wow.
I hadn't let that
I
other dream
love
fall
that.
away, if I hadn't
Right.
said,
Right,
I have to let this go, I'm done, I can't do this anymore, I don't know what's going to come next.
right,
You
Yeah.
right.
And then when I was leaving the center, I went back into therapy, and my wonderful therapist said to me, "You know what I find odd about you?" I said, "What?" He said, "I think you're this most amazing, charismatic, funny, wonderful, talented guy, and you don't ever think about the unexpected. You're leaving your job, but you don't know what the unexpected is. Let the unexpected, let's see what happens. Stop worrying about what's going to happen because you don't know."
Right.
And and at that point, I didn't know I was going to write the book. I didn't know I was going to finish an actual book. I wanted to get published in literary journals and in contests. I won one, which was really cool. But that's what I wanted to do. I didn't know I'd write a book. And he was like, just let yourself open to the unknown. See
Yeah.
what's
Yeah,
out there. And
Yeah.
the unexpected, has given me so many blessings. But you got to let things fall away. Got to let
do.
dreams to
That's
let
a
new dreams
great
come.
way to look at it. I mean, you have to,
Definitely.
now you'll find that fame as a famous author. So you still have your fame.
I
Well,
think
I
that
say
the
I
thing,
say in the book that years and years ago, I went to a psychic with a group of people with my partner at the time, and she came up to me and she said, "You, you're going to have success as a writer very late in life." And I got so
Wow.
mad, and I was like, "No, I'm an actor. I'm an actor." Like I was, "Fuck you!" Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean I'm not going to be
I
successful?
need it
I'm
now.
and
That's
I'm like
funny.
20, I'm
Yeah.
25 years old. And like, what's she
You're
talking
like,
about? I
fuck
wasn't even
that late
writing.
life stuff, right?
Fantastic.
I didn't even write in a journal at that point. What's she talking about? I'm like, oh, she's a hack. She doesn't know what she's talking about. And I just
Yeah.
said she's a hack because I'm like,
You have to
no, I'm
go
a success,
find her. Go
right?
find her and tell her.
I'm sure she's gone at this point because I was 25 and I'm like 110 at this point.
Uh,
But you know what? You know what, John? The thing I love the most is that hearing about your careers, plural, your
Yeah.
careers always seem to be based in helping others,
Mhm.
and I know what you guys have done at the center. Like I know my bestie works for Centerlink, so
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
linked up with you
They're
guys.
linked up, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I hear about it all the time, and then they get to go to the big deal thing every year, the big convention.
She knows Lori Jean, I'm sure. Lori Jean was the
Yeah.
CEO of the
Lori G,
center.
yes. Yep. Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah. So but I just love the fact that, you went from, helping young people learn how to prevent HIV, how to take care of themselves, that kind of thing. And then the Cultural Arts Center, again, like everything is based in such, I don't want to use the word service, but
Yeah, that's the
it's a
word. That's the
testament
word.
to like it's based in like this kindness, this human kindness that's
Mhm.
fantastic. And this is like a book that will help people. It will help people that are struggling, that are struggling in one way or another. And
Yeah.
that's just like something that's, like you can't learn. You can't learn. It's in you, and that's just fantastic. I mean, I hope that, you've got another book in you. Like, I
Oh,
mean,
I got
oh,
I'm working on a YA book. My young adult novel is
oh,
next.
nice. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Oh,
a
And
new
then,
wow.
wave.
See?
Yeah.
and then I'll tell you this crazy thing. This woman named Annunziata. I don't. I think
Already love it.
I think Annunziata means Nancy in Italian. I don't
Yeah.
know who she is or where she came from, but Annunziata wants me to tell her story. And I've written about 8 chapters of this book. It's all about, because I'm obsessed with Ellis Island. It's all about coming over to Ellis Island and being Italian immigrants, having a gay son. This whole it's my Godfather. It's my Italian saga. And so when I did with the YA book, and in writing class, my teacher said to me, she said, "You have to tell Annunziata, stop. Like, I'm working on the YA book. When that's done, I'll get to you. I'm not writing you right now, but in class, when we get prompts, often I'll write something about Annunziata. So I have a stack of things I wrote in class were prompts where she came in, but I've got about 8 good chapters. I mean, they're rough. They're good chapters. This woman named Annunziata, I don't know where it is, but because I did this research. When you come to Ellis Island, if you're not claimed by somebody, a boss or a family member, you get like 8 weeks, then you have to go back.
Oh.
And my grandmother and her siblings were stuck for a long time before they went back. And I've watched videos and I've done this research on what it's like on Ellis Island when you're just the people that are waiting to be claimed.
Mhm.
Um, and that's going to be the part one, the first part of the book. But so yeah, so there's other books coming for sure, for sure.
That's
Oh, that'll be
awesome.
fantastic. I
But
have
you'll
a
love the Italian
cousin that's
saga.
obsessed
Yeah,
with the ancestry stuff.
yeah.
Like just
Yes. Yeah.
absolutely obsessed with it, and like he posts about it on Facebook all the time and everything, and I'm like, oh God, like that. I don't know that I want to know because I feel things like so deeply, and I would hate to know the struggles. And like I can't even stand to watch those television programs where like celebrities are finding out about their past, and that like somebody died at 15 because of
Right.
some weird, smallpox thing or something. I'm like, oh God, that's so tragic. I don't want to know that about my own people. So yeah, I
Right.
don't know if I could do it, but I just amazed at the way that the ancestry thing is taken off. Like everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
My friends of
Yeah.
ours are doing a podcast about it. Like Linda and Gina were doing a podcast about it,
Mhm.
and it's something that I think that'll resonate. Again, super timely. You're like
Yeah.
hitting all the marks.
When I go to New York to do my interview with V. Vensler, I have never been to Ellis Island, and I'm
Oh
like,
wow.
I have to go. So I'm going to go to Ellis Island and also the New York Library, which is the greatest library, my favorite, and get this. If you call ahead, they will pull documents for you.
Oh
So you can
wow.
call and say, look, I'm writing a book, I'm researching. So when you get there, you're not going
Oh,
through, they'll
Yeah,
pull stuff for you. So I'm gonna, pull a bunch of stuff that I want to read and do a lot of research because I love research. Like in
yeah.
my book,
That's
I
the
will
fun
tell you,
part.
this is the greatest thing about the internet. I can find out what the weather was on July 18th, 1973 in New York
yeah.
at midnight. Like that specific.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
I love doing that. When I did the Good at It book, I would go through like the years and pick
Yeah.
like the songs that were in the top whatever to
Oh,
make sure that the timeline was absolutely
right.
correct. What
Totally.
was on
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
television, the trends and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like fun. Like it's
So
the
much
fun
fun.
part
Yeah.
of it. Yeah.
I could do research all day long. If I were young, I would want to become a research assistant. If I was
Yeah.
trying to make, instead of waiting on tables, although you made a lot more money waiting on tables.
Yeah. Yeah,
I,
it's
I was a damn good waiter. I was a damn good waiter. I was
well, you're
Italian.
Italian, so you know
Yeah,
what
I
you
was
know.
like, you know what?
Yeah.
I spent a fortune for theater tickets, a fortune on parking. My job is I want you to have a great, like, come to my house, eat, enjoy. I
Yeah,
want you to have a
yeah,
great time.
exactly.
I was always like, come on, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually loved waiting on tables. I
And
actually got a kick out of it.
I
Yeah.
grew up in restaurants. I grew up in
Grew up in restaurants.
restaurants.
A
Yeah,
lot
Yeah,
of people that
family had
way.
them all over. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Restaurants, a nightclub, and then cafes. It was just
Yeah.
till phase out, till phase out. Nobody wanted
Yeah.
to make another fucking sandwich in their lifetime. You know what I mean? Even now, my wife say, "What do you want for lunch?" I'm like, "Not a
You burn
sandwich."
out.
Yeah, burned out
Yeah.
big time. Well, John, we have kept you far too long from your work, but
Oh,
I am.
okay.
Amazing meeting you.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
just been such an
my pleasure.
absolute pleasure.
JD, send me the link to that song. You have my email. I'd love to have. Can you
Sure.
send me? I would love to hear it. Would
It's
love
Thank
to hear the
you.
song.
I would
you'll love
be
it.
happy
You will
to.
absolutely
Yes,
love it.
I
Yeah.
will. Thank you.
Well, thank you for doing what you're doing. Lesbians are the best. You should rule the world.
Thank
If
you.
only. Thank you so much, John. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank
Pleasure
you
being
so
here. And
much.
Anderson Cooper, I want to be on your show. I'm putting it out there
There you
wherever it can.
go.
We're going to
We're gonna
manifest it.
we're gonna
Right.
attach him to the link.
Oh,
Yes.
please do. That'd be great. All right.
Excellent.
Pleasure.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Told that we're too loud, but we scream and we'll never bow. Tears and scars forge this steel. No more doubts, this power's real. We are unbroken, we're the storm. All their rules, we've torn apart the norm. No apologies, hearts ablaze, we're the sun, we're the endless days. Rise up, fighters, we won't back down.